campaign you're running, there'll likely be a final confrontation with the big bad at the end of it. So on building up to that, you sort of ramp up to it. Here are just a few ways you can capture the essence of the end times, of things just sort of falling apart around your party. So changing how magic works, perhaps their plan, the big bad's plan, it resulted in certain magic being stripped away or altered. It feels like a fairly generic option that you could use, but something like teleportation and or long distance communication spells, if you give those a slight chance that they work or that they don't work entirely, this can help sort of capture that essence that your party is in the dark, that they're just cut off from everything. They can't just zip around the map wherever they want to go. And yeah, they really feel like they're in the dark and feel like they're on the back foot trying to plan things. Personally, I like the idea of it being where there's a slight chance of success, but there's a massive risk that it just blows up in their face. You could have it where certain areas of the map, certain pockets, are safe from this. Maybe they were doing a ritual when whatever this spell, whatever happened to alter the magic, they were doing this ritual that shielded them from it, and now you've got little pockets of areas that are safe. Or maybe they allied themselves with the big bad and they are exempt from whatever's going on. Either way, having these little pockets gives the party some kind of direction, something to work towards, which I quite like. And you could, if you wanted to add a bit more peril, you could have it where the big bad, for whatever reason, is trying to sever the connection with the divine, and so divine magic isn't as potent. So things like resurrection magic just doesn't work. So making it so that deaths are now permanent adds a lot of danger to it, but yeah, there's a lot of peril with that one. You could have it rampant crime. This sense of end times, of civilization as we know it, just crumbling. People will panic, and with that, people start committing crimes. Cities might feel overwhelmed. Might be that certain NPC allies had to go into hiding. Maybe they got captured, or worse. Could be that shops were raided, so rare spell components and magic items they party just can't get anymore. So things like diamonds for resurrection, things like that, they're going to really struggle to get their hands on. They might have to go into the black market and sort of interact with the criminal underbelly, maybe. And could be that certain cities have really strict lockdowns and curfews. You can't go out after certain times in the evening. You can't see certain people. You can only leave your house if you're authorized. Things like that. So could be that your party has to now navigate that, try and get official pardons maybe, or join a resistance group to sort of try and sneak out of the city maybe. Or on the flip side, you could have it where there's a garrison of troops in a city who need to go off and fight the big bad and help the party defeat them. But the second they leave, city goes into riots, goes into flames, so they can't leave. And now it's up to the party to try and fix it. So there's a fair few angles you could take with that one. You could have it where natural disasters, maybe whatever the big bad was doing triggered some natural disasters, changing the topography. Perhaps an earthquake destroyed sections of cities, and roads, particularly bridges, are now destroyed. So people have to find alternate routes to places. Maybe certain areas of the map are now just cut off from others, struggling to get supplies. You can have it where coastal cities, there was maybe a tsunami, flooded coastal cities. So now traversing the coastlines really dangerous because people don't know where the old coastline was and the new one is. What between that, like church spires, towers, things like that. Plenty of things boats can get destroyed on. You could have it where the party now has to investigate sunken cities. Maybe they have to retrieve a certain item, a certain relic, some records of some sort, and now your party has to do an underwater adventure. Things like that would be quite cool. This one's a bit more of a slow burn, but maybe a volcano. Volcanoes erupted, massive ash cloud. The setting's basically in perpetual night, but obviously no sun, so crops start dying, livestock don't have as much food, they get ill, they start dying off, people start getting ill, food becomes a lot more scarce, and because it's just perpetual night, it's really dark and dreary all the time, and it's just this sort of sense of everything slowly being suffocated and then being no real way to fix it. So, but yeah, that's a bit more of a slow burn. Alternatively, if your big bad's got like anything to do with vampires or anything like that, now all sunlight sensitive creatures can just roam about as they please. So that could be quite cool sort of dynamics to think about. Maybe whatever spell the big bad did, whatever ritual or rite that they were doing, resulted in, whether intentional or not, um, vast swathes of people and livestock, animals, plants being mutated. And now these mutants, super aggressive, attacking anyone on sight, and so certain areas of the map that were safe are now not, and these outbreaks are very localized to various settlements. If these mutants are sort of enthralled, they're not responsible for their own decision making, it could lead to ethical dilemmas with the party of like, is it really right to attack these people because there's no agency, they can't control what they're doing. Could be that certain cults start cropping up. Maybe the worship the mutants see it as an improvement over previous life forms, that they're somehow better, or maybe they're a divine sign from whatever deity or power that these cultists believe in. And then the last one, never ending nightmares. Maybe whatever curse was unleashed, whatever spell was done, has caused people to have these terrible, terrible nightmares where they just can't sleep. They can't feel rested. Whenever they go to sleep, they're just plagued with these nightmares. And there's a chance they don't wake up, that they can't escape them. And so this sort of sense of paranoia, of reluctance of going to sleep, really would change the shape of how people interact with the party. Could be that the party doesn't feel as comfortable long resting. Is it really worth the risk? Is there a chance? You could have it where the party sometimes, after doing a long rest, they wake up and they feel exhausted. Maybe they didn't get full hit point healing. Maybe they didn't get all their resources back because of these nightmares. Could be that an NPC ally is trapped in a nightmare and now the party has to try and get them out, and to do that they have to venture into the nightmare via whatever magical means it is. And so now you've got a nightmare adventure to get this person out. Or maybe there's a herbal remedy and they have to get the rare ingredients to do it, and these ingredients are getting more and more scarce, and there's more and more reports of people falling to these nightmares. So yeah, those are just a few ideas you can do. You can mix and match them, change them however you want, but just a few ideas for your setting.